Hey, hi everyone. Can you hear me? Hey, hi everyone. If you are able to hear me, please reply.
Yeah, hi.
Yes. Yes, Krishna. Yes, Krishna. Krishna. So I'm audible now.
Hi,
Yeah, you are
Vishnu.
audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
So shall we wait for a few more minutes or we should start it? So I think I will start this meeting now. Okay. Guys, if you can hear me, you can reply something.
Your voice is too low.
Okay. Now is it okay?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I think now we can start because we can't wait for others as well. Okay. So in the today's session, we will discuss about Databricks and its use cases and how we can leverage other things like how we can use other scripting languages like Pyspark, SQL, Python. So what all things we can do with the help of Databricks. So on those topics we will discuss today. Okay. So I will quickly share my screen and I will show you something. So let me know when my screen is visible to you.
Yeah, it is visible.
Yes, so first we will discuss that what is Databricks and why we need it. So the Databricks is nothing. So this is a UI based solution where we can write our codes, and it was basically invented by the team. So the company which invented Apache Spark also. So they invented same this Databricks. So it is nothing but a web-based platform. So working with Apache Spark. So in the real-time scenario, what we can do, so like if we have some data and we want to process it, so we can process it on a single machine. But if the data size is huge, so in that case, we can't run all our codes on a single machine because our performance will be very low. So to overcome all these things, so they created Apache Spark and they created this web-based solution data.
Sorry for the disturbance. Your voice is getting too low to me. Can you speak loudly to me?
Yes. Is it for everyone or like others can hear me properly? Like, am I properly audible to everyone?
Yeah, you are properly
Properly
audible.
audible, but it is low, little bit.
So that's why we can use the Databricks. So this is nothing but this is a UI based platform. So where we can write our codes and we can process it on the Spark clusters. Okay. So suppose that I will tell you everything step by step. So now we will come to the point like what is Azure Databricks. So at one point of time, Microsoft, there are many cloud services as available in the market. As you know, Microsoft Azure is there, AWS is there, and Google Cloud is also there. So in the starting, like as we know that Microsoft Azure is the most preferred one because according to the cost one and their functionalities and their services. So based on thing, Microsoft Azure is at the top in the market as of now, we can say. So when we just integrate Databricks into a cloud service, so that's why it is called a cloud-based Databricks service. So now what Microsoft did, they integrated Databricks in their services. So now that's why we call it Azure Databricks also. So what happens, suppose that you can use Databricks on a single ended also, like you can directly create one community edition login and then you can use it. And suppose that if you want to use it in Azure, so whenever you guys when you create a Azure ID, then you log in into Azure portal. So at that time you can say like many resource you need to create a resource group over there, and inside that also many services will be there. So Databricks is also one of the services in the Azure portal. So you can directly create a Databricks workspace over there and you can use it. So this is Databricks and Azure Databricks. Okay, so now we will move to the next slide. So why Spark? Like why we need Spark? So actually the thing is that in the real time nowadays, a lot of data is being generated because we are using Facebook, we are using Instagram, we are using Amazon. So whatever thing we are using now, all those things, all those apps, they are asking for permissions of data. So they are collecting our data. And based on that data, those companies, they are analyzing that data. And based on that only, they gave us suggestions. Suppose that if we search anything on Google also now, then we will get some notification on Instagram, then we will get some notification on Amazon also. So this is based on that data analysis only. So now the data which is being generated, it is a very huge amount of data. It's in, we can say like in petabytes. Yeah, so like a huge amount of data is being generated, and it is not possible to process that data at a single particular machine. Suppose that we have our system, so in that like 16 GB RAM will be there, or like we can improve it, like we can get it to 24 GB, but not more than that. So at that time, handling processing of the 24 or petabytes data, so that won't be possible on a single machine. So Spark, what they created, so in the Spark architecture, there will be one driver node and other will be the worker nodes. So worker nodes won't be, they will be like machines only. So suppose that many small machines, they have just configured, collected, and there will be a driver node who will drive them. Okay, so this is the Spark architecture like. So it can handle a large amount of data. Suppose that in our real-time data processing, so as now we have seen a very now suppose that if you have seen any CSV file, so you have seen like 1,000 records, 2,000 records, or 3,000 records. But when you will guys work in the real-time scenarios, so there you will get data from the clients. So that will be like there will be million of records, more than million records will be there. So that data will be a huge amount of data and you can't process it normally. So, and suppose that if you are processing it on a single machine, so then the process will take a lot of time. So that's why the process is also much faster, and it works on the master slave architecture, as I told you.
Sir,
So
just a second, just a second. Can you please let the candidates to the meeting? I'm Keerthana.
okay, okay. Yes, Kitna, I have admitted all that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Just a second. So master slave architecture will be like that. Suppose that if there's a class, so like I can tell you like if I'm teaching you guys, so I will direct you guys that how you have to work. So I am master and you all are slaves. So same structure is there in the Spark, that there will be a driver node and other will be the worker nodes. So whatever data will be there, so that will be processed on each of nodes. So I will give you a simple example. Suppose that if you get a task to count 100 to 100 chocolates, if you will count it one by one, it will take a lot of time. So in that case, what you can do, suppose that you have 5 friends. So if you will give them some amount of chocolates and you will ask them to count, then they will count it and give you the count number. Yeah, I have 20 chocolates. Someone says that they have 10. Someone says they have 50. So now you can directly just sum it up and you will get to know, yeah, that 100 chocolates are there. Because suppose if you have done it single handedly alone, that it would have taken a lot of time. Are you guys getting my point?
Yeah.
So the same way Spark works. So whatever, suppose we are processing a data of petabytes, so it will be distributed on each node and then it will be processed. Okay, so this is the overview of Spark. So then we also need to know why we need Spark. So that I already told you, that big data is being generated, like huge amount of data is being generated. So the basic definition of big data, it is that it is a collection of data that is huge in volume, okay, and it is growing exponentially with the time. Okay, so the main thing is that big data, the size is very large, and the complexity also, that it is very complex. It is not like normal data that you can handle very easily. So now we will come to the types of big data. So in the big data, we can see three types are there: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. So this you can see, I think this you can find everywhere. These are the three types of data which you have to handle. You will be processing in any company, you work in any of the projects, we will get these three kinds of data. So what is structured data? So structured data is nothing but it's a kind of relational table with the data which is there in the row column format. So that will be called structured data. So everyone of you must have seen the Excel files. So in the Excel file, you can see on top, you can create columns. Columns will be there. You can write your column names over there, and rows will be there. So you can add some more entries over there. So if the data is in a proper format, so then it will be called structured data. And now we will come to, so the structured data. So it is like in a table format. Like if it is in a proper format, row column format, so then we call it structured data. And suppose that if you have guys must have heard about JSON files. So they are like, we can say these are the unstructured data because it is not in the proper format. If you have seen once, so like in the JSON format, what is there? So there will be curly brace brackets will be there, and inside them there will be key value pairs will be there, as we have some in the similar kind of in the dictionary. So the similar things will be there. Suppose that my name, my information is there in that particular JSON file. So in the curly brace bracket, first thing will be name, and after name, my name will be there, designation will be there, and other things. So this is the unstructured data because it is not in a row column format. We can use this data, we can process the data, but it is not in a proper structure. So that's why we call it unstructured data. That was about the semi-structured data. Whatever I told you, that was semi-structured data. Unstructured data is nothing but like audio files and video files. Those comes under unstructured data. Semi-structured data, JSON files are in semi-structured data. So are you guys following me till this point?
Yeah. Good.
Okay. So now we will come to the next slide. So what are the characteristics of big data? So big data, we can describe it normally way, the volume. So like there are these 4 V's which refers to the big data. So the first one is the volume. So the name itself defines that the size is normal. The size is enormous. It is a huge size. So that's why volume is the first characteristics of the big data. That yeah, it will be huge in size. Like you can say more than 50, more than into up to 50 to 100 GBs to petabyte, because like it is very normal if we are listening, yeah, that 50 GB data is there, but while we go to process that amount of data then it takes a lot of time, and you can face like a different type of other challenges also at that time. So because whenever you are getting interviewed now, so they can ask you this question, like how much amount of data you have handled in your projects, because it matters a lot, that they want to know, yeah, if you know properly that how to handle this big data or not. So the second V is variety. So it refers to like heterogeneous sources and nature of the data. So as I already told you, that big data, that data which is being generated, so there may be many sources can be there. Suppose that if there are retail stores are there, so as I'm living in Hyderabad, so here Ratnadeep is there, and other stores are also there, Ghanshyam is also there. So they are selling a huge amount of data and they have multiple stores. So suppose that if you are going to analyze their sales data na, so like normal days you can think, yeah, it won't be very huge, but when you will get the data na, then you will get to know, yeah, it is very huge in amount. And there will be many like other columns will be there which are required, not required. So that thing depends on the nature of the data. So there can be different sources can be there, online sites, shopping sites, and online social media platforms, whatever we are using. So from all these sources we are getting variety kind of data. Okay, so because some data may be structured, some data may be unstructured, and some data may be semi structured, but most probably we will be getting in these three variety, in these three categories only. So now we will come to the third point, that is velocity. So the term, you also know the velocity, it refers to the speed generation of the data. As you know, at this particular time, particular moment of time, we can think of like many peoples will be using Amazon, they will be using Facebook also. So on each and every click, we are generating a huge amount of data. We don't know it, but anyhow anyway we are generating a huge amount of data. So the velocity, the speed of generating the data, that is also too much high. Now will come the next point, that is variability. So this refers to the inconsistency which can be shown by the data at the times. So like the data can be, there can be like different kinds of data, and there can be many inconsistencies also in the data. So that all things we will look into deep in next upcoming sessions. So like, are you guys able to follow me till now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like basically data is there. So data was there earlier. So now huge amount of data is coming. So that is called big data. And for processing big data, we need Spark clusters. Yes, we have like Hadoop, Apache, and other frameworks also there. MapReduce is there, Hive is there. But the thing is that in those things, the processing was slow. So that's why Spark came into the picture. And this is the latest one, so where we are processing most of the companies. Because in nowadays if you will go to any company now, so you will be hearing about this thing, that earlier they used to process their data on the on premises, but now they are moving it to cloud, because cloud are offering most of the services, so their cost is very low, and they don't need to think about the infrastructure. Suppose that in this present time, Azure is offering storage services also. So like ADLS Gen 1, Gen 2, those things are there, where you can store your any kind of data. Okay, so like cloud services are cheaper than our normal services which we used to use. So that's why most of the companies, they are migrating their workloads, their codes, their storages into cloud services. So what are the advantages of Azure Databricks? So first thing, it is a cloud-based service, and it has several advantages over traditional Spark cluster also. There we have optimized Spark engine. So we will get into these points in deeply in the next upcoming session. I'm just giving you an overview. Okay, and in the Databricks we can do many kind of things. Databricks we can utilize for data science things, we can use for machine learning models, like we can create and we can train our models, we can run our models in this Databricks only, and we can use it for data engineering also. So like the one more thing I would like to highlight, So like what is data engineering? Because the main thing is that now, because the data will be there, data is getting generated, data will come. Then after that, on that data, suppose that if some person is there, they want to analyze that data. So like a data analyst, they can't directly analyze on the data. Okay. So before that, data should be in the proper format. As I told you, it will come, there will be like many inconsistencies in the data. So suppose that if you are getting a raw file of sales data from any particular customer or any client, so there will be many different kind of inconsistencies will be there, because they will give you the raw data. You have to filter out the things which are the required things which you have to use for analyzing that data. So preparing the data in the backend for your, like we can say, for Power BI view consumption, for any tool processing, for putting it into any, we can say, we can directly create this data, we can transform this data, and then we can put it into data warehouses also. Okay. So yeah, I will explain these things also better. And other things, so here in Databricks, we can use different languages. We can use Python, we can use SQL, we can use Pyspark, we can use Spark. So Pyspark is nothing but it's a mix of Python and Spark. Okay. And so these all languages, different languages we can use in the Azure Databricks. Now we'll come to more other advantages. So in Databricks, we have Databricks utilities also. So they have created some Databricks utilities function, so which we can utilize to leverage. We can leverage them and we can use them to create other functionalities. Suppose this, I will give you one simple example. So there are many processes there. So one example is DB utils. So suppose that from that utilities you want to use any kind of service. So you have to write a command dbutils.fs.name, and then you can use it. Okay. And other thing, this is a very interactive workspace. So like you can, if you guys have ever seen, so when you will open a Databricks notebook now, so when you will open the Databricks, so there you can create usernames will be there. Under that you have to create notebooks. So those things are very interactive. Like you don't have to worry much about. Like you can write your code chunk by chunk, like different cells will be there. Like normal, it is not like the normal IDs, because there are many IDs also available in the market, like PyCharm is there, Visual Studio is there, and others are also there. So you can use them also. But there, if you have seen, you will be writing a no, you will be writing your code in a single file. Single file will be there, and there you will be writing your code. But in Databricks, now there will be many cells will be there, so you can differentiate step by step your code. Okay. And the other advantage is that we can integrate it with the Azure services, and also we can, as I already told you, we can run our machine learning models and other things. So these all things we can do here. Like till this time, like till this point, are you guys able to follow me? Like if anyone has any doubt, you can ask.
No doubt.
Okay. So like here, I'm giving you just an overview, because before using anything now, we should just know that why we are using it, what is the need. Because yes, if you say someone, if you tell someone in an interview that yes, you are using Databricks, but if they ask you a question like why are you using the Databricks, what are the main things, so why you are using it, so you must be aware of these things, that this big data is there, that's why we are using it, we can use Spark clusters. So that all thing you should be aware of. And the next thing, so the main thing is that for using this Databricks, so there are like different models, they offer us a different services. So Databricks Community Edition account, so this is also a service provided by them. So this is free of cost. So suppose that if you want to create any Databricks notebook or something, if you want to practice, so at that time what you can do, you can create a Databricks Community Edition account, and over there you can send it in notebook. Okay, so I'll try to show you like how to create a Databricks Community Edition account.
I don't know who's this. Can you mute yourself? Redmi Note 10s.
Yes, so like as you can see my screen now. So this way you guys can also create your Databricks Community Edition account, and like whatever from the next session I will tell you, like I will show you. So you can try all those things in this Databricks free Community Edition account, and you can practice over there. So you don't have to give much information. You have to give your first name, last name, company email. So apart from the company email, you can give your personal mail ID, and in company you can file, you can fill any name or title, and then you have to give your phone number, and you can create it. So let me try. I already have one, but still I will try that I can create a new one or not. So I think they will send a mail on the mail ID, and then we have to start it. So we can select a cloud provider here. Okay, so for processing further, from the next sessions, I will tell you like how to go ahead. We cannot create an account with email. Okay. I think I already have one, so that's why it's not letting me in.
Which cloud provider should we choose, like Amazon Web Services or Azure?
No, no, no. Without choosing, also you can go ahead. It's not a like it's not there only. Now I showed you on the down. There was a thing that you can directly go ahead with this. So you can click on that thing. Like you don't have to particularly choose this, because for that if you are choosing a particular cloud service, Azure or AWS or Google Cloud, so in that case you should have one account over there as well. But the thing is that you can create a Azure account also. You can create with your email ID for free, and there you will get some points also. I think they will give you some dollars for free, so that you can use for a normal purpose.
I mean, I have Azure account. Should I go
Mhm.
with that, or shall I go with don't have a cloud account?
Yes, if you have one, then you can go with that.
Okay.
I forgot my password. Yes. So here now, are you guys able to see my screen? Hello.
Yes, we are.
Yes. So now here you can see now. So this is how the Databricks UI looks like. Okay. So here, as you can see from the top only, we can use it for data science and engineering. We can create our notebooks. So notebook is nothing. This is a basic thing where we write our code. Okay. This is a UI where we will write our code, nothing else. Data import. So we can, in the Databricks itself, it has a storage, DBFS, Databricks file system. So suppose that if we have some files on our local machine, suppose that in your local system, you are having some CSV files. So as in our next classes, when we will do some data analysis, now, so we can, in that case, we can directly upload the data from our local system into this DVFS file system. Okay, we can run our machine learning workloads over here. So you can get a tutorial from here, and yes, we can do this transformation of data. So from the left pane, so from here, this is the point from where you guys have to start. So here from the create button, we can create a notebook, we can create a table, and we can create a cluster. As I already told you guys, that cluster is nothing but this is a set of machines. Okay, so one will be the driver machine and other will be the worker machines. Okay, so whenever suppose that if we are running any chunk of code now, so then it will be, then first it will go to the cluster. Then on the cluster head is driver node. It will go to the driver. It will divide the work between the node workers. Okay, the same example as I gave you for counting the chocolates, the same thing will happen. So this is the backend process. Yes, you just have to understand it, but not necessarily that you have to remember it every time, but this is just for your information sake. Okay, so these things you can do from the here, and this is the workspace. So here there are two kind of workspaces are there: shared workspace and users. Okay, so in the shared workspace, suppose that whenever you guys will work in any company, in any organization, so there you can see there will be like shared workspaces will be there. Like in the general process, there are like three environments in which we work. Okay, so first is the development environment, other maybe the testing environment, and the most important one is the production one environment. Okay, so like according to company, the name of these things can change, but dev and production will be there. Testing for some income, some companies they can like keep it as release. So other things like these two three environments will be there. Okay, so for each other environments there will be workspaces, so in which our code will reside. So workspace is nothing. Workspace is just the main plate, we can say. Just whenever we eat food na, so we have a one plate. Inside that plate we keep our sabzi, dal, and other things. So workspace is like that only. Okay, and there will be users, so we can create a users, and inside those users, suppose that yes, as of now I logged in with my Gmail ID na. So here you can see my Gmail ID will be shown as a username. Okay, inside my user ID, if I will go, so these are the notebooks. You can create folder inside this. From here you can see we can create notebook, we can import libraries, we can like ML flow also we can do, we can clone anything. Cloning is nothing but suppose that if you have any notebook, you just want to clone it, paste it over here, so that we can do. Import we can do, export we can do. Like these notebooks as you are seeing now, I'll show you this one. Like it is just for information purpose, like how it looked like. Okay, yes, so here you can see, so these are the cells. Here we can write our codes. Okay, and there will be the display things. Okay, so these things are there in the workspaces, and then in the recent, where whatever activity we will do, so those we can fetch from here. And then this is the important thing, this is the data part. As I told you, that we can create our tables over there, we can store our data also here, and we can upload our CSV file and other things. So that all things we can do here. Okay, now we will come to the next part. So compute, so this is the most important part. So here, as we were talking about clusters from a long time, so all our clusters which we are creating, so we can create our cluster over here, and we can see them, we can like check the performance, what all codes are running, and all those things we can check from here. So the cluster configuration things, complete cluster handling will happen from here. Okay, and here we can see our workflows. So but yeah, as we don't have now, so for that we need to upgrade our subscription, so which we don't have. Okay, and here you can see, so this is the workspace name. Okay, so this is coming as Satyam1560. So because this is my Gmail ID, I've created with it, so this is showing at my name. Okay, and yeah, from here we can do this thing, auto expand, we can expand this thing and collapse. Okay, so this is how the Databricks UI look like. Okay, and we can use like for, there will be different things. So if we will choose the machine learning thing now, so there you will see that things will be different, a little bit things will be different. Okay, other things will be same as it is, but yeah, for machine learning and for data engineering we can choose, like for we are, like if we are creating our machine learning models and other things, then we can go for that ML flow. Otherwise we can use it data science and engineering. So like till this guys, till this point, are you guys comfortable with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if somebody has any doubt, anything in their mind, you can ask